applying decals to a model. Since we have just finished blackwashing our model, we still got a good shine and have a gloss finish to the model. Decals are going to bond best to a gloss finish because it's nice and smooth. A couple ways to go about doing it. You can use what comes from Battlefront. They stay in my hand. You know, very professional. You have a mix of color and white on the decal. Or you can print your own. This is what I use from Testers. Comes in with either pure white where you can print the color white, or where you can print clear. What you do is you just put it in your inkjet printer, whatever design you want, put it on, and then you have to bond it using something else from Testers, where it bonds it, puts that plastic coating over the top of it, and it allows you to make a regular decal. If you use the white, you have to either have to go very close to the edge of it, or you have to put the color, because there's no clear on the white. It's either white or clear. If you do the clear, you can't use any white on it. And it allows you to print pretty good decals. I'm not quite sure if that's visible or not. We'll see in a post from there, and we'll talk more about how to do this later. All right. One thing to remember when you're cutting out decals that you've printed yourself is to cut as close to the decal as you can, especially if you've printed onto the white background. You got a little bit of color matching your base coat around it. That way it minimizes any type of disparity between the decal color and the base color of your model. Just a little tip there. These are printed on clear, so I'm not going to have that problem, but got to cut them to fit. One of the other things you want to do is always do a dry fit of your decal to make sure that it's going to be fit in there just exactly right. So you got to trim off as close as you can get. All right, back to you in a bit. Okay, we've cut out our decals, and now we've placed them inside our water. Now from there, we'll just let them go ahead and stay inside until they're good and soft. And the decal is actually separated from the back. Then I'm going to apply a decal set solution onto where I'm going to apply the decal. This will create a good bond with the decal and prevent silvering later. We'll put it on both. I'm going to put numbers here, and over the door on the shirts and over the turret, I'm going to put the white cross. And more in a bit. Okay, my decals are separated. Now, in the dark zone, take our model, our decal setting solution, and apply some of the decal set to where we're going to put our decals. The white cross and the number will go right in there. Okay. Now, what I use is I just use one of my brushes, and I gently lift the decal out of the water. This is a bit that always is a lot of fun. Then I take it, I put it on, kind of dab off a little bit of the water, because you have decal set back behind it. I apologize if this doesn't show up too good, but alright. Then, sorry about my hand, but you just kind of start working it on into place. And try not to use your hands as you do this, because the decal will stick to your hand in a heartbeat. A little bit of decal set, or you want a little bit of water to help slide it around. Then gently kind of like dab off the excess water once you get her set. Okay. Now I gotta find that white cross. Oh, there it is. Best thing is if they sit down to the bottom of the dish, just kind of play with them until they start to float. That's the easiest way to get them off. And just find out where I want to put it again. Come on, baby. Alright. And just start to slide it into place. Bingo. And we'll come back to the next step. Okay, the last two steps that we're going to do is once we got the decal on and it's dried for the most part, we want to put another thing of decal set on top of it to work it, kind of melt it a little bit and work it into the grooves, especially if you got Zimmerits or you put it over, like this is over a door hatch and there's just seams, you kind of want it to fit into there. So all that ends up doing is you take your decal set, you just kind of run it over top of it. Now if you haven't let it dry properly, the decal is going to start to move on you. And you just kind of work it back in. You always have a paper towel handy to dry it off. Now if you use too much decal set, you can make the decal break apart. So it's just a little bit of practice of knowing how much is enough. And then to kind of work it into the Zimmer, kind of do a little poking action just slightly. Just enough to make it work its way into the detail. And so on. And then the last step, I'm not going to show this step because it's easy. Even my brother could do it, is you apply a little dollop of gloss coat over the decal. The gloss coat base, the decal set, the decal set again, and then the gloss varnish on top of that should prevent any silvering or lifting up of the decal from the model. And that's all she takes. Now what this comes out to look like is kind of the one I've showed you everybody already. Is, sorry for me to tell on my screen if this is working right, but I mean it works right into there, into the detail, and then with the gloss coat and then your final matte coat on top of it, it looks perfect. Alright, thank you much, and happy painting.